Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talking Mons, or Digimon Ghost Game Recap Podcast. Hey, you actually got through it this time. My name is JD. I'm joined by my two good friends, Jeanette and Gary.
Hello.
Hey.
And today we are going to be talking about episodes 7 and 8, titled just simply Birds, and the Nightly Procession of Monsters. Yeah, it's just more wacky shenanigans, wacky ghost shenanigans this time around, and just making more interesting ways that they can carry this kind of hologram ghost thing. I guess.
The bird episode is interesting because it doesn't even involve hologram ghost.
Yeah, kind of. No, not really. But yeah, I guess we'll get into episode 7. Again, titled just Birds. So this is kind of an interesting episode because I think the one thing I took away from this is that I think this is the first time that a non-protagonist is like made aware of what Digimon are. Because basically we're introduced to this guy who he's basically a bird keeper. He like runs a store, but then like this giant fucking crow Digimon bird lord thing starts freeing all the birds and basically enlists him as a minion somehow.
Well, from what I get, my interpretation is more like he's like the equivalent of a crazy cat lady, but with birds.
Kind of.
And then he start worshipping this this crow Digimon as a god or something.
Yeah. Yadagaramon. Sorry, go ahead, Jeanette.
Yeah, if he wanted all the birds to be free, why was he keeping so many in cages? I don't get it.
He was collecting them.
Yeah, and he was shown the error of the way by the bird gods.
Yeah.
He's a born again. I don't know. What do you call it? A bird worshipper?
Yeah. I don't know, but yeah. So he like is basically enlisted by Yadagaramon, who's this giant bird god dude, and he like enlists this guy to basically help them like free all the birds. So he's just freeing all the birds from the pet stores and like stealing people's like pets and shit. And like, by the end of it, he's going to an atrium to like fucking unleash all these predator birds.
I feel like enlist seems too strong of a word because I feel like it's more of his own interpretation, and the Digimon is just kind of sure, this is convenient.
Sure, why not, man? You do because you, I guess.
The Digimon feels more like a force of nature more than anything. There's not really much of a character.
Yeah, because it's like I think it's the first antagonist Digimon we've had in the show so far that doesn't actually talk. He just kind of does whatever the fuck he wants. But yeah, so I think the other big thing that we got out of this is we get to see Gamamon's second champion evolution, Kaus Gamamon, who basically is Gamamon with a glider suit.
Yeah.
He's got glider wings, like one of those flying squirrel things, or one of those weird suits people put on to jump out of planes and stuff. He's got like jet engines in his ankles.
But he can't actually fly.
He can't.
Right.
He falls with style.
Yeah.
Oh, can I talk about how I love his little? He has a scarf in this one, and it's just the cutest.
Like, wait, his evolution or Gamamon himself?
Gamamon himself.
Okay, yeah, and I think that's like because I like that this show is kind of following the year in real time. Because when the show came out originally, it was in October, and the first couple episodes like took around October, and then we had like Halloween. So now now that we're getting into December, it's like December in the show. So all the characters are starting to wear winter clothes. So like all of the Digimon have like Angoramon and Gamamon have scarves on, and Jellymon has a little shawl on. And
Piglet.
they kind of keep those on for the next couple of episodes so far. But yeah, it's really cute. Just he's like, you put a little scarf on him.
Yeah,
he's got to keep warm.
Mm-hmm.
But what did you guys think about the Birdemic?
I don't really care for this episode.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I couldn't suspend my I know there's a lot of ridiculous stuff that happens on in the show, but I just couldn't find it convincing or like I couldn't suspend my disbelief for this episode. I just thought it was silly and like didn't work for me.
Okay.
Yeah, and like the end, I just thought the stuff they were saying just sounded like total nonsense. I was like, there's something about this episode that I just didn't quite get.
Sure.
Yeah, the script is not the best, but I like the scenario where it's an interesting twist compared to all the other episodes because it's not directly. It doesn't feel like it's a directly Digimon centric kind of situation.
Yeah.
Because there is a human element involved that isn't just like, oh, a human has been played tricked on or is a victim of some Digimon attack. This human is a collaborator or instigator at worst.
Right.
So I do hope that we see a little more of these kind of situations where there are more proactive human in the story interpreting the situation at hand rather than just screaming for help.
And one thing the show I think does very interesting is looks at the relationship between the holograms and the humans. And how different people respond differently to these wayward holograms.
Yeah, because I mean, most of it we've seen like when the Digimon are affecting the real world, like most people like run in terror, but like this one, and this is the first time we're seeing that like, oh, he may not know exactly what it is, but he's like, okay, well, this hologram ghost is clearly like he's the bird god, so I'm gonna follow him and like help him out and stuff. So
I don't. Oh, well, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Gary.
No, I don't see. At least from the animation, it doesn't look like the. Wait, what's the Digimon's name again?
Yadagaramon.
Yadagaramon. It doesn't look like he's in hologram form. It would just look like he actually appeared in the real world as a Digimon.
Right.
Well, one thing that was confirmed by earlier episode is there's very much Digimon gods that affect the real world. And I think he was one of those. Yeah, he was one of those Digimon gods.
But that will also explain why this Digimon didn't really interact much with all the other characters because of that kind of status. Hence the force of nature. Why would I deal with the other Digimons as much?
Yeah, it's like even when Gamamon's fighting him, he kind of treats it more of an inconvenience than an actual problem. But yeah, Gary, I'm kind of with you and Jeanette. I like the scenario and what they were going for. I don't know if like I'm fully on board with like the execution of the story, but I think at least like getting other humans other than the protagonists in on the weirdness going on, and like you said, Gary, kind of having this force of nature Digimon who really just can't be bothered with the humans. It is kind of an interesting change of pace.
I like the next episode so much better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the next one is so much fun.
Jeremy Snow here, owner and editor-in-chief of The Geekly Grind. I'm interrupting your awesome, regularly scheduled programming to ensure that you know about our Geekly Grind podcast network, of which this show is a treasured member of. If you haven't had a chance to check out our site, you can do so at www.thegeeklygrind.com, and while you're there, check out the other members of our steadily growing podcast family, including the anime-centric Blake and Spencer Get Jumped, discovering new heroes and comic book keepers with Chris and Lance, exploring the vast universe of geekdom with Geeksploration, or of course appreciating animation's finer details with the Ink and Paint Club. Escape your weekly grind at The Geekly Grind.
Well, I guess then we'll get into the next episode, which is episode 8, Nightly Procession of Monsters. And yeah, Gary, you said this before we started recording, but yeah, this is basically just Digimon's version of the Fast and the Furious. It's literally just like, so what the kids find out that there is this nightly race of Digimon down the highway where basically they are being chased by Metal Phantomon, and if they fall too far behind in the race, Metal Phantomon basically reaps their soul. And they have to do this every night.
They're contractually obligated.
They're contractually obligated because they have been marked, and Sister Mon is a fucking nut job.
She's a yonder.
I don't get why Sister Mon. There are so many other speedster like Digimon out there. and then we get a random nun. Like at the very opening of the episode, where you see this couple in the car on like autopilot while they're flirting, you would think that it has something to do with like, oh, she's this holy Digimon that's probably has some like almost kind of like Catholic kind of thing where it's like no touchy
right
situation. But nope, she is just a random speed demon.
Yeah, it does seem very random. Like of all the Digimon you were gonna be like to be the ringleader of this night race, it's a weird nun Digimon.
Yeah, I thought maybe it's like, oh, she's judging people's driving. It's unsafe to leave the car on autopilot like that.
No, she just has a need for speed, man. She's just like, I want to be the fastest fucking driver in the land, and I'm by hell, I'm gonna do it. And I think it's even made funnier by the fact that Jellymon, who is supposed to be one of our protagonists, is actively helping her.
Here's a car.
Oh my gosh.
Like, yeah, Sister Mon's like apparently asking her behind the scenes, like, hey, I need like the fastest thing. And Jellymon's like, hey, these go-karts are hella fast. Why don't you use one of these? And Jellymon's like, not even upset about it or like sorry about it. It's like, no, I did that. You know, whatever.
Jellymon is still just like the MVP of the show for me.
Jellymon's a shit.
She's a little shit and I love it.
Oh, but and okay, so I gotta say, her relationship with oh Christ, I feel bad. I can never remember this guy's name.
Is it like Kiyoshiro?
Kiyoshiro, right? Kiyoshiro, I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. I fucking love their relationship so much. Because Jellymon is, I don't know if I've said this in the previous episode, but she's just like this fucking brat, like, I don't know, and she's like almost flirting with him all the time. I like that she's just like constantly calling him darling, and like just like she's acting like this like fancy rich brat girl, and just constantly giving her trainer shit, and I love it.
I do have one question. I feel like the episode that didn't answer at all. Why was Ruri thinking about go-kart racing in the first place?
I don't know. Bruley seems to have a lot of really weird interests.
She just likes the adrenaline of doing something dangerous.
Yeah, she's good, but then after the end of the episode, she's just kind of, this is not the right thing. I need to look for something else.
Right, yeah.
But what is it that she's looking for?
Yeah, I don't know. Ruli's just a weird fucking girl, and I mean, her main activity is running around doing like trying to find urban legends for her Instagram. So this girl is just weird. I just took it as that, but yeah, it is very this entire premise seems very random, at least from like motivation standpoints. Like, why does Ruli want to get into this? Why is the speed demon a nun? Why is there a giant robot Grim Reaper trying to murder everyone in the race?
That the nun summoned just to add to the thrill.
That's the shitty thing, is that they were just having a race, but Sister Mod like made a deal with Metal Phantom on how to make the race more interesting. Oh my god, she's such an asshole. But then like at the end of the race, at the end of the episode, everyone remember that Black Gatomon in the trench coat that we saw in like the very first episode? It comes back and is apparently able to summon a portal back to the digital world.
Yeah, it looks like it was a rice cooker or something.
Something like that.
From Ghostbusters.
Something like that. But yeah, it just like opens a portal and all of the monsters in the race just go back to the digital world. And it is yet to be explained. I'm like 3 episodes ahead of this, and like they have not explained why that happened or why it can do that. I'm sure they will eventually, but like, my god.
I do like how Rudy outsmarted Sister Mon just by bluffing. It's like, my car is faster than yours. It's like, it's mechanically faster. I'm not better.
Right.
We can trade. Let's make a deal.
Right. No, like I like this episode because it's goofy and stupid.
Oh yeah.
It's just like it's a goofy, wacky race shit, and
it's It's also really messed up. Like, Digimon get murdered horribly in this episode.
I mean, yeah, they do. Like, fucking Phantomon is, like, dissolving them when he gets them with the scythe if they fall too far behind. And, like, yeah, it's pretty messed up.
So great.
Yeah, but literally everything around that horrifying reality is actually funny.
Something I really like about the show is it does the horror, it does the goofy, it balances between them just so nicely that it's the perfect kind of schlocky and fun, and I love it.
Yeah.
Even if like the last episode didn't really work for me.
Right. I also like, and slightly going back to Jellymon, I like that Jellymon is the one who races the cart, not Kiroshiro.
Yes.
She's like, no, hop in. I got this. She's such a shit, and I love her. She's the best. But yeah, I definitely like of the two episodes we're talking about today. I definitely like this one better. I just think it's like a fun. It's more fun and kind of silly, but it's I don't know. But it also sets up some mystery that like I hope that they're gonna get to soon, like with the whole like portals and going back and forth between the digital and the real world. So I'm interested to figure out how they're gonna handle that this time around.
Yeah, would there be time dilation like in the first series, or would they just disappeared?
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Okay, guys, well, I think that'll do it for this week. Thank you all for listening. I hope everyone is preparing for your various winter holidays if you haven't had yours already. But we'll be back again next time to cover more episodes of Digimon Ghost Game. But until then, stay safe, and we'll catch you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.